The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.
Welcome back to another HFA Home Field Advantage. She's Teresa Autrey. She's with Expert Realty right there in Hoover, 294-4210, 294-4210. I guess it's 4200 is your basic number.
No, 4210.
All right, well, you said 4200 on a couple of occasions on the show.
I made a mistake.
Yeah, I know. So
I was so nervous because you guys are experts, and I'm just like...
You listen to your host. He knows what he's doing. First of all, happy holidays to you. We're going to get into the 12 days of real estate today. It's going to be 12 things you need to fix on your home before you put it on the market or before you sell it. And I think that's perfect. And I love that. I love you came up with that because it's obviously very, very topical. But I do want to mention something, and you're so good about this. You called me up last week and said, what are you doing today at 2:00? And I was like, I'm free, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, meet me here. So you and I have had this neighborhood, I've had this neighborhood that I really want to move into, that I'm not going to tell anyone where it is because I don't want anyone to snoop on it, and houses don't come up for sale very often there. But there was a house that just came on the market there, and like a great real estate person, you knew I was interested in that place. And again, it just gave you an idea, a benchmark of kind of what I was looking for. Which I think is really interesting. So before I talk about that little trip we took, because the house was fantastic, when you invite somebody to come look at a piece of property for the first time, and you're like, just give me the basics. What are you looking for? 3.2, 4.3, blah, blah, blah. You got a price range. You know, do you want a backyard? Yes, no, da, 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 da. What other things are you looking for at a potential real estate person when they're wanting to buy a home? What are some of the big important things outside, obviously, the size of the home and how many bedrooms there are?
Well, you've got to remember, I asked a lot of questions in the beginning when we first talked. Yes. I was like, well, what's important to you? What's not important? I also found out a lot of background information just by listening. Children, ages of children, animals, no animals, yard size. What did you want to do? What did you like to do? Your hobbies. I call it the keys. You know, know everything you can about your customer or client. And so when I find a new client and they're telling me what they want, I say, give me your wish list. And I make a mental note of that. I barely ever write it down, but I do listen really good. Yeah. Well, when I knew that, number one, I set up alerts, and every day I look at new things anywhere my clients are looking. So I looked it up, and I said, okay, so I knew that my showings got canceled that day. The lady was sick. Thank you. I don't want to get sick. And so I said, well, what can I do with this time? And I said, well, let me call you. I messaged you. I said, hey, are you available? Do you have a couple of minutes? I didn't tell you what it was for because I wanted it to be a surprise. Yeah. I love being the light. I love making it someone else's day brighter.
And it was. It was a nice surprise. Yeah.
I know they can't just get that anywhere, and it's a thought planned surprise. So I got permission, and we already got paperwork handled and all that. So I met you, picked you up. You were brave enough to ride with me, and so we even brought Rainer. And we were able to walk through. And what I look for is more body language than anything else.
Okay.
I pay very close attention to what people say, the tone, the inflexes. I pay very close attention to the body, how the body reacts, how it responds. And it looked like, just to me, and we haven't discussed this, agree? So to me, it looked like you'd had a tent stay.
Yeah.
And so I had no idea what you had done earlier that day, correct? So when you walked in, well, number one, when you found out we were going to the neighborhood to look at it, you were already a little bit more at ease. And then when we got in and you saw it was staged, it was claimed, we're going to talk about those things today. I could just see the stress levitating off of you. And we're just like releasing it. And I thought that's what a home needs to be, a sanctuary.
There you go. And I wasn't, your body, you knew my body language pretty good. This is obviously, well, I'm ahead of the game here because I am not in a financial situation, but you know what? I don't know what God's got in store for me. I don't know if I'm going to win the lottery tomorrow. Things could change overnight. And
it was so much more important than that.
Exactly.
You got to see the quality of the home, the inside details of the home. And we were able to point out a few things to you that you might want not would have recognized elsewhere, like the quality of certain things, the roof, the windows, the fixtures, the height. And also you said it was very important for you to have a studio.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to make sure, and I had already previewed the house before I ever picked you up, because I wanted to make sure that there was room and fluid with your son and with other things.
No, it was great. It was wonderful. And with that being said, obviously I looked at it and I want to see more. So you got me Jones a little bit. Is it the house? Is it perfect? No. Will you find a perfect home? I don't know. But the thing is, I love that neighborhood so much.
But how much of the 100% was fulfilled of your wish list in that home? Like how?
85%. So we got a little work to do. I'm going to make you work for it.
We also got to see the school bus, the children, the people environment, the construction that's still going on. You got to see the all-around experience of everyday life there. Not a rush, 15 minutes in, 15 minutes out.
And I am not telling anybody, do not email me info@TonyKurreRadio. Do not info me and ask me, because I'm not telling you where it's at, because I just kind of stumbled upon this place, and I went there today, walked the neighborhood for about 5 or 6 miles. That should give you a little clue. So great. All right. So Christmas coming up here. We're recording this show on the 6th. So we're 19 days away. And I love what you came up with today. I text you, you got anything? The 12 days of real estate. And I'm shortening that 12 days of real estate. These are 12 things that you need to have fixed and or prepared in order to sell your home. I've not heard these, so I have no idea what they are. And so I'm going to let you start with number one. I'm assuming these is there a particular list here of importance, or these are just 12 things off the top of your head?
Actually, because I am in the industry, and to be an expert, you need to immerse yourself in all knowledge and as much as you can every day. And like I told you yesterday, I was in a 6.5 hour class. Well, none of these came from that class, but these are things that I already knew, and I have the research to back up. So from NAR, National Association of Realtors, from the local Association of Realtors, I came up with, they only had 9, but I already knew a few more to add. Okay. So in no particular order, let's go over a few, shall we?
Sure. Let's do it. Go for it.
All right. So number 1, depersonalizing and declutter.
Okay. What's that mean?
And what I mean is take your family pictures off the wall. Nobody cares about Auntie Susie's doll from 1972. They don't. We love you, but they don't. Yep. Declutter, that means anything that you don't need to live everyday life needs to go out, because you don't want to be trying to move all this the week of. Okay. That's going to be enough stress. And then depersonalize. Remember, there's a lot of things when we do videos, when we do photos in the home, there's a lot of identity theft. And so for security purposes, and I think we did a show about that, put your valuables away, put this up, all that. So part of the decluttering and depersonalizing is we don't want anything out where they could steal your identity, names, diplomas. People don't think about it because they don't know, but say you've got your military information up there on the wall, or your college diploma. Well, it don't take too many hard things to figure those out. Are you
better off taking those personal things down and having absolutely nothing on the walls, or at least?
No. What I mean is, and we're going to get through that part. Depersonalized, which is, I'm sorry, that's a guy calling a contractor who's fixing a house. But it's better off just take everything with a name off. Okay. Anything with a date, like married on. Off. Okay. Anything that is personalized, off. The next thing is, if you have nice artwork, and artwork, it does depend on the human, make sure there's nothing vulgar, nothing offensive, and let's just remove any high price stuff that you don't want sticky fingers to touch. Okay. And I think that would, like, children run up and they say, hey, I don't mean someone's stealing it. Yeah. So just declutter and depersonalize. Okay. All right. All righty. Next. All right. This is going to sound crazy, but fixtures are a must. If you've got a beautiful chandelier and you've got 3 different color light bulbs, come on, y'all. Come on. Change the light bulbs, make them all the same. Okay, it don't cost much. If you got to rob the bathroom to make it fit, just do it. Okay, so you want your fixtures done. Now, with your fixtures, I'm going to put this in the same category. So as you're fixing any broken fixtures, globes, lights, whatever, blown, busted, recess, fix, clean, and clean. And if you don't know how that works, start at the top and go down.
Okay.
So as you're changing the light bulbs, go ahead and clean that ceiling fan. Yeah. Go ahead and clean those light switches. Go ahead and clean the banisters, okay? So you're going to be fixing the fixtures and clean. And when you think you've cleaned enough, clean again.
Yeah.
Okay, then, because we call that the deep cleaning. So now you've depersonalized, you've decluttered, you fixed the fixtures, and now you're cleaning.
Okay. All right, good.
And you can take this up into like a 30-minute a day session. That's why I call it the 12 days. You may have no fixtures broken or just 2, or you might need to take an afternoon to clean the ceiling fans and fix all the light bulbs. Mm-hmm. Just 30 minutes. It's not going to kill you.
Gotcha.
Next is, okay, hear me out.
Okay.
Next, I didn't write this in the order, but water mold. Anything. You got a dripping faucet, fix it.
Okay.
If you got a water stain where the roof leaked 5 years ago, well, I don't know. Is that a current leak? Is that an old leak?
Yeah.
Okay, fix it. The water and mold are huge issues. Even if it's not the black mold, any kind of mold mildew, they just don't look pretty.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this? If you notice it and you're not on that day yet, is no harm in putting a sticky note by it.
Yeah.
And just say, fix. The next thing, and this is what you cannot see in pictures. And I swear I'm going to invent an app for this, Tony. Scratch and sniff. The odors.
The odors?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the odors. Explain.
You cannot tell through a picture if there are 50 cats living there.
Yes.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
You cannot tell if there's a dog there. The people that live in the home have grown what they call nose immune. Mm-hmm. If you smoke your cigars in the basement, deodorize. If you smoke out in the backyard, do it 25 feet from the door because it will go in. Don't stand on the front porch and do it because it's going in when you open the door.
Yeah.
So just odors. That's pets. Urine,
and pets, and I will say this, pets are the number one thing because you do get immune to smelling pets. My pets do not pee in the house. They don't poop in the house, but they're animals. So they run outside. They get things stuck
between their toes. Smell when they're running in from the rain and they got to go to the bathroom and we have them and we love them. Mm-hmm. But what we also need to remember, it's just like smoking. Nobody wants to smell that.
Yeah, I hear you.
So,
yeah. And let me ask you this: is there, first of all, are candles okay? Can you have candles lit, or is that something that you don't want to have lit when you come in because people are like, "Why they have candles?" Or
what I do is I ask the client in advance if you mind, I would not do it. Mm-hmm. But some people say, "Hey, Teresa, yeah, I sure like the candles." But let's not have 41 different flavors. We're not Baskin Robbins.
Yeah.
So let's not have those different flavors. And also, let's not have vulgar stuff on it, like straight match, burn my bottom, you know.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And then also, we don't want to seem like we're covering up an odor.
Okay.
So the sprays.
Yeah, I was going to say, because a lot of places, like, for example, I'm renting this place and the guy who was supposed to come in and look at it, I didn't know he was coming. And so he came and looked and I was like, good, you saw it for what it is because I didn't do it. He goes, yeah, I know. He goes, nothing's worse when I walk in and all I smell is bleach. That tells me that they did a last minute cleanup and that makes me think they're up to no good. He said, your place smelled like your dog, which I have a dog. So that's also, you don't want to have a very bleachy or Febreze smell if you're walking in the door because
anything like that. And here's another thing. When you're doing the odors, don't make them so strong and overwhelming.
Yeah.
You want to make them classy and simple. You don't want to seem like you're hiding anything.
Yeah.
Don't do it right before you leave. Gotcha. Just don't. Okay. If you burn something in the stove the night before, leave the exhaust fan on all night, warm soap and water, a little bit of Dawn goes a long way.
Okay. So far we got decluttering, depersonalizing, fixtures, water stains, drips, and odors. What else you got?
Okay. Now, from the water, you might need to look at your roof. So make sure if there's a roof issue, because, in the new state, we talked about insurance a while back. Mm-hmm. And, we can walk you through that. When I come out to help you as your local boots on the ground real estate broker, I want to say, hey, when was the roof replaced? When, because that's a huge ticket item to people.
Sure.
And we can give them some security about that, whether you do a pre-inspection or whether you have I had something in my eye, have someone look at it as an agent. Just make sure your gutters are clean.
I had a metal roof put on my last house, and I did it because I had a client who did metal roofs, and I thought, well, I might as well go to, but I know some people aren't into metal roofs, but metal roofs are good forever. Is it always good to have a metal roof if you can get one?
Well, sometimes some subdivisions won't let you.
Okay.
I was just talking with a roofer yesterday as part of the CE class, and it was metal, tile, the new, do you have solar panels? All kind of different stuff is going up there, even the 3D dimensional shingles. But we want to make sure if we have gutters, which that fixes a lot of problems.
Yeah.
That fixes a lot of problems. But if you have gutters, clean them.
Okay.
If you have a roof and there's any kind of, if you have vinyl eaves or soffits and there's any kind of stuff running down from rain or whatever, clean it.
Okay.
So make sure it's either pressure washed, cleaned, whatever. So your roof doesn't just mean your roof. It's your roof, your aesthetics around the roof, and leaks, and in addition to your gutters. And let's think about this. The gutters has got to run somewhere. So come down in those guard spouts. Mm-hmm. They're cheap. They're at the Home Depot and Lowe's. Yep. Grab those and just guide it out. You might have to buy.
How do you get rid of woodpeckers? I got woodpeckers right now, and I've noticed, and I had them at my last.
Somebody else's yard.
Yeah, I had them in my last house too, and I'm like, what in the world? But yeah, and someone said that it's not a good look to have woodpeckers because that means that your facet or some of your wood is starting to rot, and it wasn't. It just I got woodpeckers.
Well, that's okay. There's an actual product, and I even use it at my sister's house because she lives on an acre of land, and it's animal and children approved. And it's a little white powder. And I say dust on the inside and then dust on the outside. Mm-hmm. Give it about 48 hours between dustings. Dust around your windowsill, dust around your gutters. It takes 1 to 2 times on a pretty day. It's earth diomythesis. Mm-hmm. And it's about $20 a bag. It stays on there a good 4 to 6 months. And it's animal children friendly. Gotcha. So it's chemically free. So it's really safe. You can use it inside and outside. You can use it in buildings, barns, garages. Sprinkle it, wait 24 hours, do it on the inside first, your attic, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Then do it on the outside. Okay. A lot of people throw a couple of mothballs on top. Yep. So it's just some deterrence.
Gotcha. Okay. What else you got?
All right. Big ticket item, HVAC. Make sure your HVAC is working and serviced, cleaned, and looking properly. Okay. Make sure that if you have an overflow pan, it's not overflowing. Mm-hmm. I went into a very dear friend's house a few weeks ago. I think I told you, and I was visiting her, take her lunch after she had surgery, and I'm hearing drip, drip, and I got great hearing. Yeah. And I said, you have a leak. And she was like, what? And I said, you have a leak. And she's got a 3-story house. And and 5 minutes later, we noticed droop. And it literally, she has this catwalk that walks from one side of her house to another. And it drooped from the 2nd story attic down to the coffee table. Boom. Really? And it bubbled up. I run up the stairs and I knew immediately what it was. And so I run up there and sure enough, her HVAC and it was a new HVAC. Just somehow the line did not get connected and the switch did not turn off. So we wet and dry backed it up, had a contractor, a HVAC guy out there 2 days later because it was on a Saturday evening. We got him out there Monday, fixed it. Painter contractor came back. Boom, it was done.
There you go. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's super, that's super important.
And make sure and if you're selling in the winter, check the air on a warm day. Mm-hmm. If you're selling in the summer, check the heat on a cool day. Do you see where I'm going?
Absolutely.
Check your filters every month. I don't care what the filter says. Even I pay for the extra hypoallergenic filters. That's like $25 a piece because I have a lot of allergies. And every month.
Makes a huge difference. And that's the people that actually I'm renting my home from because I have a dog. They're like, change and I'm like, I'm not changing my filter every month. He's like, change the filter every month. And so I do. And it makes a huge difference.
Don't make me get on to you. Change your filters.
Come on now. All right.
This is the whole price to pay to give you an extra few years on your HVAC unit.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And let me make 2 little notes here. Roofs only, unless they're metal or tile, generally last 18 to 20 years, not 30 and 40 years. Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The other thing is HVACs generally are the same, ironically, 18 to 20 years, because we do get to 20
What
degrees.
What is HVAC? What does it stand for?
It's the heating unit,
Okay.
heating and air conditioner.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. AC and HVAC is heating, valuation, air conditioning units.
Gotcha. Okay.
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 Now, this is another water mold thing, plumbing. Okay. Just because you know all the little tricky tricks of your toilets or your showers, I don't. So the last thing you want is someone to test your toilet and you got a bigger problem.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's in the basement with a sump pump,
mm-hmm.
or you're a corporate traveler and you're just not home a lot, check your toilets, check your sinks, check your faucets, anything to do with your plumbing. Huge thing that people don't think about. When you're single or when you do not use a bathroom very much, make sure you're leaving those stopper closed. We don't want animals crawling up through the plumbing or building a little nest in the plumbing lines.
Okay.
Hear what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
The other thing with the plumbing is, I don't know that your faucet's got to be turned 14 times to get it to turn off. Make it work and make it simple. The other thing,
and a lot of times, by the way, it's just a washer. I mean, I said a lot of times it's just a washer, or sometimes it's just a washer. Yeah. I've got one drip. I got one drip in the bathroom, and it's a washer. I mean, it's no big deal. It's you don't have to replace
people have faucets that's too short for the sink.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
That makes no sense. The other thing on plumbing is, and people don't really think about this. Remember when we were at the house, laundry.
Yeah, I got hammered on that once. I had someone come to look at a house, and I had laundry all over the house, and he's like,
it's the plumbing. You need either a floor drain or you need proper plumbing to get the water out of the house. Mm-hmm. So make sure that your dryer, wherever it's venting to, and your washer, wherever it's venting to, the plumbing all works.
Okay.
Perfect.
Right. Perfect. Gotcha. We're doing great. You want me to tell you what we got so far? We got declutter, depersonalize. We got fixtures. We got water stains and drips. We got odors. We got roof issues. We got HVAC. And then we got, well, the last thing you did was HVAC, but you also mentioned the sub pump and just making sure we don't have any drips and stuff going like that.
Well, with the plumbing comes the sub pump. We want to make sure that everything's functioning.
Oh, I love this.
Now, in addition to plumbing, if you have a septic, clean it out or provide the documentation of when it was last fully serviced.
And how long does that usually last? Tell people.
If you get a brand new one, they last about the size of your family, obviously depends, 10 years. I always say try to clean them out every 5 to 7 years. And I also always say keep the paperwork. If you have something serviced, keep it.
I've had several neighbors of mine in my last neighborhood over in Heatherwood. The yard blew up. They didn't even realize that they had sewers, and they didn't even realize. They started smelling it. It was coming up to the front yard. It was like the Beverly Hillbillies, and all of a sudden it blew.
Just because you're on sewer, it doesn't mean that you're going to be free of stuff, because there are roots that get up in the sewer system, and then some of those sump pumps can't pump it out, so then it backs up into the house, and that's disgusting. Nobody wants that, but it does happen. So you need to make sure you have. I always say a pound of prevention is worth an ounce of cure.
And will you please share with people, because my last house did not have, my last house did have a lift, but how important it is to make sure that, if you've got somebody using the bathroom over your house and it's below ground level, that it does have a pump, and or don't use it for number 2.
Well, not just that. You need to always be able to use something. So I would say test it once a month yourself. You live there. Yeah. So go down there. And if there's a problem because of the water, the mold, the mildew, the plumbing, the sewer, the septic, the health issues, if there's a problem, put it in your budget or put a little money aside and have it fixed within just immediately, because the longer it sits there, the worse the problem becomes, the worse it deteriorates, the more problems you're going to have. And I have seen it, a simple $100 fix today or this week would save you $10,000 in 5 years.
There you go. Okay.
Now, are we ready?
Yeah.
All right. Curb appeal.
What?
The last thing you want to do as an agent, Curb
Oh,
Appeal.
curb appeal. Okay, I thought you said carb appeal. I was like, what's a carb appeal? Okay, curb appeal. Curb appeal. What do you got?
Well, this is what I always tell people. If you live on a lake, make sure that around the lake is safe for animals and children. You can use the same stuff I told you about. You can also use snake away and stuff. This is stuff you can buy at Lowe's for nothing. Here's the thing. If you have a fence, if it's rotted, it's more of a liability than an asset. If you have a deck and anything's rotted, it's more of a liability than an asset. Mm-hmm. Also, keep your grass cut. I'm not going to say big HOA style out there measuring with a ruler, but I'm 5 foot tall. If you can't see me, we got a problem. I'm not showing your house.
Sure.
So we pulled up and the pictures look great online, but guess what? You hadn't cut your yard in 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. And now the weeds are out of control and people don't want that. So curb appeal is huge, huge, huge.
Again, let me, because you are the realtor here and you're obviously selling your stuff, but let me tell you something, because I just went and sold my home. It was a messy situation. I didn't want to sell the house. I mean, I was almost doing the Brady Bunch thing where I was like pretending there was a ghost in the house so no one would buy it. My real estate person at the time, and you and I obviously hadn't been working together yet, or else I would have had you sell the house for me. But she's like, the curb appeal situation was really important in that, she's like, yeah, is it going to save you thousands of dollars to do it this way, to put new carpet in, or give them an allowance? She goes, it's better off having brand new carpet in and spending a little bit more than not having any carpet and then taking the price off. In other words, you want to put your best product out there in front of people. And some people say, well, that's just a paint job. Well, it is a paint job, but it makes a huge difference. And that's all part of curb appeal because it shows how you take care of your business. And if you're taking care of your house, then it's something people want to live in. That's all I'll say.
And I agree. And remember, I've had clients who looked great in the photos. Agents, don't be deceitful.
Yeah.
The public already has issues with trust. And if you've got something looking like it's beautiful and gorgeous and the yard's maintained, I mean, if it's got a short driveway, just go on ahead and own it, show it. Mm-hmm. That saves time. However, also in curb appeal comes another few little minor things, flower beds.
Yep.
In this way, a lot of people get so used to using their garage, they don't use their front door. Mm-hmm. So I always say once a month, go around, use the bathrooms, wash the windows. But more importantly, make sure that if there's any trip hazards, loose stones, loose bricks, you don't want to get sued because somebody's walking and it's bad, but oops, well, you don't walk to the front door and that brick stone that lays there is just fell apart.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
It takes a handyman minutes maybe to fix stuff like that. And so when we're talking about curb appeal, also, let's think about the driveways and your garage. Now, we were in a very nice garage the other day. Mm-hmm. It had a very nice finish. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Very nice.
If you have a driveway, concrete will crack. That's the end. Uh-huh. So if you can, get a sealant. If you notice that the concrete has shifted 1.5 feet, you might want to look at getting an engineer out there to just relook at it. A lot of it can be filled. And let me tell you about this new product I found that I'm in love with. And I'm not in love or impressed very much at all, but I have literally called all my contractors, sent them the video because I saw this about a month ago, but I need to do my research. Y'all, I am so in love.
Well, what is it?
It is rolled concrete.
Rolled concrete. I've heard about rolled concrete. I've actually read about that. That's pretty amazing stuff.
And you can do it with bridges strong enough for you to drive through. Mm-hmm. So you roll it, and you have to have so many people to roll it, but it saves you tons of time and money on labor. Okay, Are you ready for this? Mm-hmm. Are you ready? I'm so excited.
I know.
So it comes in a big roll, just like you see AstroTurf or sod.
Yep.
And you have a few people, and you push it, and they stand there. Have your little latte, the coffee, and you watch it, and it goes. It goes without you needing to push it.
I know, right?
When it gets and it's all in place, you take a little water hose and you hydrate it. Within 24 hours, you can walk on it.
Someone made a lot of money doing that. It's a brilliant idea. It's a great idea.
In 48 hours, you can drive on it.
Yeah.
So if you want to put, and it comes all the way from like 2 inches, where you could put a nice coating to level out that driveway and make it correct. and pretty, you can do that. And in addition to it, you can level it and you can choose to optimize any type of painting stuff. Now, don't be that person that paints it and it starts chipping the next day. No, use the proper aesthetics.
Yeah.
So I'm in love with the rolled concrete. I know it's the weirdest things. I hate shopping, but send me to a world fair on certain building materials. I believe in efficiency and longevity. That's how long it lasts.
How long does it last?
75 years.
Does it really?
Yeah, it does.
That's amazing.
Now, it's not going to say that shifting sediment cracks won't happen. It's also not to say that you won't have to prepare your current stuff. And you can put it on dirt or you can put it over concrete. They have both. Damn, and have it pre-cut so you can measure. So amazing. Instead of the old fashioned like, I want to add another parking pad. No. You just buy it in that square footage and zoom it out.
There you go. I love it.
And here's the thing. They have bridges built out of this.
It's pretty cool. I mean, when you told me about it for the first time a couple weeks ago, and I was like, there's no way. And I mean, it's really cool. All right, we're up at 30 minutes. Anything else?
The only other two things, and we'll make this real short, change your smoke detector, radon detector, and appliances. Okay. Those are health and safety issues with smoke and radon. Make sure that happens. And the next thing is check the grandfather code on anything that you might have had done that was grandfathered in that will no longer be up to code. The last one is, again, ties back into the concrete, which was the structure, foundation, and driveway issues. All
right, I got two questions real quick because it's on the same thing. First of all, lighting. How important is outdoor lighting?
Is pretty important.
Okay.
Because you want to at least have a couple of floodlights and go ahead and spring, instead of spending $16, spend the $35, get you some floodlights that are motion censored. It helps to know if someone's in your yard at nighttime. It helps your neighbors to know if you're away from home, what's going on over there. So just,
All right. And about 5-10 years ago, someone started doing pressure washing. Now everyone's, I call it the depression pressure, because normally when you see someone out there pressure washing, they just need to get the hell out of the house for a while. It's kind of taken over for cutting grass, because pressure washing takes a long period of time and it does look nice, but some people kind of go over top. Is pressure washing a must? Is that something you need to do?
Well, this is what, and even at my sister's house, my mother, all that, I say it's a once a year mandatory thing. Okay. It's just like any other maintenance. Once a year, go around. And here's another big thing I'm on with those odors. Open your windows and your doors. If it's a 65, 75 degree day, open everything in your house. Let those odors, smells out. Pressure wash the outside. Of course, close the windows, but pressure wash the outside once a year. And, just make it happen. Now, I will say some people pressure wash twice a year because they have allergies. Yep. And so pollen in the spring, and then, all the icky stuff in the fall after hurricane season that's blown everywhere.
Gotcha. Good stuff, man. Very good. The 12 days of real estate. I love that. These are all tips. And of course, if you want to hear these things, all you got to do is come find our show. We're available on every major industry anywhere in the world. We do podcast. We're on all of it. Not a lot of places are. We're on everything. And of course, you can hear the show at least 5 days a week right here on the TKR app. She's Teresa Autrey, 294-4210, 294-4210. Do we have any special guests for our next show?
We do. And I wanted to say, I just had a thought, the 12 days of Christmas, the 12 things we just mentioned, if you took one a month and did it one a year,
you're done.
I mean, you see what I mean? If you check your smoke detector, say the first month of January, boom, you're done.
Yeah, there you go.
You see what I mean? Uh-huh. So just break it up into manageable things. And yes, we do. We have one of I think he is the largest flipper in the state of Alabama. So got with him, Matthew Gregory is a client, Gregory Dream Homes, his wife, Rebecca. We pray, and they are going to be on in the coming episodes. And then we also have someone super, super, super fabulous that's going to be on. And I think you have either ran into a few people or not.
I have.
And then we have the flipper that's going to be in a 3-part episode. We also have one of the biggest land barons in the state who's going to I'm pleading and begging and prodding, but he'll get there. And then we also have some fabulous attorneys that's going to answer some questions for free.
Awesome. We're looking forward to it. Again, you can reach Teresa Autrey at Expert Realty right there in Hoover, 294-4210, 294-4210. You can also check her out on her email. And, of course, you can also email us on info@TonyCurryRadio.net, info@TonyCurryRadio.net for any of your questions. I know, baby. Home field advantage. Thank you so much. We'll catch up next week.
God bless.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.